Hello my lovelies, we are going to be doing a really fun Christmas look today. I'm super sick when I'm filming this, so please excuse my crazy hair. Starting by just priming my skin with some of the NYX Bear With Me spray. Then I am going to pop on some tape, and then I am just priming my lids with a concealer today. This is the e.l.f. Camo Concealer, and it's very light because I want the colors we're using to pop. So I'm just going to blend that all over the lid and in the inner corner. And then I'm going to set it down with a little bit of the Coty Airspun powder just to make sure there's no tackiness to make my shadows stick weird. Then we're going to go ahead and just jump in with a red in the crease, which is so weird to me. This is the shade Meteorite from Colourpop, and it's almost more of a orangey red. But I'm just going to take this on a fluffy brush and just really build this up all through the crease. I'm going to get it nice and built up to kind of a color that I like, but I'm not going to take it too high in the crease because I don't want red all the way up to the brows. Then I jump into the shade Balm Ass from the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe Ring the Alarm palette, and it's kind of a really pretty, more pinky toned red. And I started with it on a smaller brush, but I decided that I actually liked the tone of this red better. So I took it on just my first initial crease brush, and I'm just going to buff that right over top of the Meteorite shade, just until it gets to a color that I like. Then I want to start deepening things up a little bit, so I'm jumping into the KathleenLights So Jaded palette, and I'm using the shade Garnet, which is almost just kind of like a matte version of the Balm Ass shade. And I am just building that up on about the maybe outer half of the outer V and lid area. And then because it wasn't quite dark enough, I'm actually jumping into the shade Framed from the Ring the Alarm palette. And this is more of a deep kind of maybe more purpley cranberry shade. And I'm really just going to build this up in that very outer V area. And then I'm going to take a little small brush here and just blend it out, make sure there's no weird lines between this shade and any of the other ones, and just make sure everything looks nice and blended here. Then I'm just going to soften the edges of that kind of lid space a little bit, and then just build up the framed shade once more until it is to a intensity that I like. And I take it about halfway across the lid here in the end. I'm going to go ahead and do kind of a half cut crease, and you can see I'm trying to do the little look up trick, but it usually just ends up messing up my crease area, so I decided to just kind of manually cut the crease here, just to the shape that I wanted. So I'm just taking concealer on a little small flat brush, and I am just carving out where I want that kind of half-cut crease shape to be on my lid. And then I'm going to, you really just want to get your kind of cut area almost exactly the same on both eyes so it doesn't look a little bit weird. So I'm going to go ahead and just do the other side. And then once I have kind of my general shape, I am going to go back with just a little bit more concealer and build it up so it's more of a white color so that our next color really pops on top of it, which is going to be this gorgeous green shade from the KathleenLights and Morphe palette. And I apologize, I'm pretty sure this palette was limited edition and you can no longer get it, but this was the perfect shade of green for what I was looking for, so that's just what I'm using. So yeah, I just built that up on the lid with my finger. And then I'm going to take a little bit of it on this flat eyeshadow brush just to really get it to the edges of that area without going over top of my red. Then to use as a transition shade between the red and green, I am using the shade Emerald from the KathleenLights So Jaded palette, just initially on my finger, and I'm just patting that right on top of both of those shades, and then just taking it on a brush to really make sure everything blends nicely. Gonna go ahead and pop on some winged liner using this is the Ipsy and Betty Boop liner you've seen me using constantly lately. It's my absolute favorite right now. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and just pop on a little wing here. And then I am just blending my kind of cut crease area just a little bit because it was looking a little bit harsh. Then we're gonna go ahead and just jump onto the base here. I've obviously pulled my tape off. And then I am just priming my skin with the Touch in Soul No Poreblem primer. And And for foundation today, I am using the Too Faced Born This Way, which I know you guys see me use all the time because I love it. Then for concealer, I'm going to be using the It Cosmetics by Undereye, and it is very thick, so I'm going to kind of spread it out in the shape I want with this concealer brush first. And while I have it, I'm going to go ahead and blend that up through that very kind of inner corner area. And then once that is done, I'm just going to blend out underneath the eye with a sponge. And I'm just making sure to be very careful along the kind of liner eyeshadow edge area. I want it nice and blended right up to that line, but you don't want to mess up your eyeshadow either. Once that's blended out, we're going to go ahead and just set everything down with the Coty Airspun powder again. And I started with the areas I concealed, so my under eye area, and then I went ahead and did the rest of the face. Gonna bronze up a little bit with the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. Mine is almost gone. I'm gonna have to get a new one soon. This is my favorite bronzer I own, probably. So just doing that in the typical areas, cheekbones, forehead, kind of temple area. And then I am going to take it, of course, on a smaller brush and just bring some of that warmth to the center of my face as well. And then we're going to go ahead and just use a little bit of blush. And the one I'm using today is an AOA Studio. This is their Perfect blush in the shade Mod, 265 Mod. We're going to go ahead and jump and just finish up our lower lash line, starting with that garnet shade from the So Jaded palette, and then just going over top of that with the first shade we used, which is the Meteorite shade from Colourpop. And I am just buffing those into the lower lash line here. And then we're going to go ahead and highlight. I start highlighting before I do my brows, and you can see right here, I'm like, what am I even doing? And I decided it wasn't worth it, and I was just gonna stop and do my brows. I'm using the Maybelline Tattoo Studio Brow Gel today, so I'm gonna go ahead and just quickly fill in those brows. Then we're going to jump back to highlighting once those are all done. Okay, it's taking me a little bit longer to do my brows than I thought. So yeah, just filling those in very quickly, and then once they are all done, we're going to go ahead and jump back to highlighting the brow bone with the shade Pearl from the So Jaded palette. It's kind of a warm, more golden highlight, and I am taking this all the way across the brow bone today. Usually I just kind of do the outer half, but I did do it all the way across today. And then I want the inner corner to be a little more bright, so I'm jumping in with the shade Diamond from the So Jaded palette, which is a little more brighter and has a little bit more sparkle to it. So I'm going to go ahead and build that up, and then I'm actually going to decide that it isn't quite bright enough for kind of what I'm imagining. So I'm going to take just a little bit of this Stila, one of their Magnificent Metals eyeshadows in the shade Dusty Rose, and I am just going to build that up on top of that until it's to a brightness I like. I also wanted to add a little bit more glitter to the lid, so I'm taking this Ulta brand glitter eyeshadow in the shade Fairy Princess. It's just kind of an iridescent glitter, and I'm just packing that on top of our green shade. I'm gonna go ahead and highlight my face now with the Colourpop Super Shock Highlighter in the shade, this is Flexitarian. It's a very bright highlight, which is what we're going for. And I'm going to take that on my nose, my cheekbones, and my Cupid's bow. And I'm actually going to jump in with this Makeup Forever highlight, and I'm going to go over all those same areas to make them extra bright. And then I am going to add a little bit of this powder highlight to my chin and my forehead as well. I popped on a little bit of a plumping gloss, and then we're going to go ahead and just curl our lashes and pop on some mascara. I'm using the Too Faced Better Than Sex Mascara here. Then once that's all nice and dried, I'm going to pop on some AmyJune lashes in the style Rita. And we're just going to pop those on really quick. And then we're going to go ahead and finish up our lips. I'm going to pull the majority of this gloss off and then press the rest into my lips so some moisture stays. And then I'm going to apply the Ciate Liquid Velvet Lipstick in the shade Diva. This is like my favorite Christmassy red. It is so beautiful. And I actually love the formula on this as well. And then with the lips done, that is actually going to be it for this look. So I really hope you guys enjoyed watching. I hope you all have a wonderful holiday, whatever you celebrate. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And I'll see you guys all in my next video.